All right, hello, friends and folks. We are back with another match for the Ori in the Blind Forest Randomizer tournament, which is going to be featuring off two teams here. We have Scorched Stones versus Team City Escape. And so this is going to be the second round of Swiss. Both teams had a chance to play last week. And then we just rolled again. They get paired up with a new team. So they just rolled each other here for the second round. But we do have two more rounds of Swiss for the qualifiers before we move on to a four-team bracket phase. That being said, my screen name is Covert Muffin, and I'm going to be casting this with my good old friend Liftoff. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. This is a very exciting match to see. I'm very hyped for this. This is the only match in the second round of the Swiss that does actually not feature two teams with the same score. Since we had 7 teams that won in the first week and 7 teams that lost in the first week, there had to be someone out.
Yeah.
And this is this match. So Scorched Stones are coming into this match with a 1-0 record. They won their first match, and City Escape are coming in with an 0-1. They lost their first match, but it should definitely still be a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, I am very familiar with Trojandude and Cutieroo because they're both friends of mine. So I swear, totally unbiased commentary from me today. But
Totally.
They've been around the Ori scene for quite some time and even participating in a lot of the other tournaments that we've put on over the years. So definitely no strangers to the randomizer, definitely no strangers at all to being in a tournament setting. But I am also looking forward to see what we get from our racers, Rubyyoshi and FieryBlizzard, because they put on an excellent display last week in their first qualifier match.
And it was a bit of a difficult and unusual match when they had to contend with a couple of flags that you usually don't see. This is going to be a standard match, no additional flags. Slowly we'll see how they navigate that. It is a bit of a different thing you have to consider, but I'm sure they've prepared well for this.
Yeah, indeed. So definitely going to see what we find out here as we jump into the seed. But, that being said, we are now going to be starting the race. In the left side is going to be Scorched Stones. On the right is going to be City Escape, FieryBlizzard, Rubyyoshi on the left, Cutieroo, and Trojandude on the right, with their respective trackers and timers overlapping their game feeds. GLHF runners.
GLHF. We can see that Ginso Valley and Misty are without relics. The other 8 zones have a relic in it. Do you want to quickly talk about the significance of relics while they're collecting the first couple of pickups here?
Yeah, so basically to make the randomizer more interesting, we added in some additional constraints. So it's not just get Sunstone, go do the final escape, right? So the relics tie into that. So there's going to be 11 total biomes around the map. Basically, 8 of those biomes, which looks like late game and early game biomes, particularly, are going to have one pickup randomly selected in each of those 8 biomes to be a relic. So before runners are able to start the final escape, they have to collect all of the relics on the map.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, relics probably isn't what these runners have on their mind just yet. At the beginning of the seed, you first want to find skills that allow you to navigate the world. But it can be a fairly low skill set that allows you to go relic hunting. So it's always interesting to see when that shift happens, when runners go from looking for skills to looking for relics to close out the seed. But we're definitely not there yet. Yeah, and on the left we can see that Team Scorched Stones has a small lead coming out of the first pickups, and we're going to see FieryBlizzard to be the first to check this keystone and his wall jump. That means we have access to Blackroot Burrows, but there's also one more pickup left, and if that's a keystone, then we'll be seeing the first opportunity for a split. It's not. It's just XP, so it looks like all of our runners are going to be entering Blackroot. The first...
Yeah, pretty linear start so far, Liftoff. We do have an energy cell in the water, so we could see a team make a particular play using a Frankie to be able to sequence break over to the right side of the map, because we are going to have to head over there eventually, because there's most likely going to be an important skill or set of resources to allow us to progress and continue to check pickups. But for now, we see just a very linear, very narrow start for all of our runners going into one of the slower sections of the video game, which is going to be Blackroot Burrows.
Yeah, definitely. There are few skill sets that really make this noticeably faster, this area. Bash Grenade is one, Grenade Jumps is another, but pretty much anything below the power level of those, you're going to have to do slow auto-scrollers here. So I find it fairly comfortable. The seed has me going here anyway. It's something you have to do at some point, might as well do it early. You skip a lot of cutscenes here using ability points, which allows you to use them while still getting useful stuff like Magnet and Rekindle. So yeah, I think all of our runners are going to be very used to this. This is a very common seed opening. FieryBlizzard going up the ramp here, being the first to check up. And there's the second keystone. So I think that would allow for our teams to split up. We'll see how they handle it.
Yeah, for sure. Like Liftoff mentioned, like this area is just super early in logic and really doesn't take much to be able to go through this starting area. So yeah, it's not as pickup dense as maybe some other areas like Glades Loop and Glades proper. But we're probably gonna have to do it anyway. I mean, we have to like track down a relic potentially in Blackroot, so may as well like at least restore the light, right? So I do like this split though, having the teams end up just sending somebody immediately into Glades, because our runners on the same team are allowed to communicate each other live as they're going through the seed. So basically they can tell them which pickups to grab, which pickups to skip. And so this can overall like save seconds throughout an entire seed, and even minutes in some cases, just simply because the overall average between the two teammates is what is going to decide which team ends up walking away with the win.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of optimization you can do with just the fact that you know exactly which pickups to beeline to in an area that your teammate has already checked. You're still going... There's no web syncing going on, so you're still going to have to actually collect the pickups that you need. But so many like experience pickups or keystones that you can skip at the end. So if you're efficient about communicating with your teammate, that can definitely give you a huge edge.
Yeah, really nice resources so far. We saw that energy cell and fake flippers that most of the runners ended up collecting. We also have some health cells showing up. One vanilla in Glades, and then one at the top of Blackroot Burrows main room. So very easy, very fast pickups to grab. So that's going to make mid-game in particular incredibly comfy. But really what we're waiting for is like, what is going to be right side access? And right now, it's either going to be like 3 energy cells that are not going to be gated by clean water unless we do find clean water. Or it's going to be something like potentially Stomp, which we see in Glades Loop. So at the top screens, they are going to be the ones to find Stomp. So now I'm just asking Liftoff, where the heck is Dash?
Yeah, Dash and Stomp gets you into the right side. We also, FieryBlizzard also finding a Mega Energy there. I would be very surprised if they didn't take that into Death Gauntlet, but that is not logical right side access.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just going to have to see what they find. They have 1 keystone, so if they find another one here, then yeah, that's also Spirit Caverns access, fairly dense area of 4 checks. They might, yeah, we'll see. That's probably where Logic wants them to go next. But if I were in FieryBlizzard's position here, the first thing I would do is open Death Gauntlet with that 4 energy. And maybe not even go through it, but just use the temporary energy boosts I have to make some meaningful permanent progress.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that there aren't really that many keystones that have shown up so far. That's like leading me to believe that potentially we're going to see like a right side teleporter show up in Logic potentially. But there are a number of other paths. It really is cool that even though we're pretty starved on skills, I would say, like we only have wall jump and stomp in early game. We don't know what right side access is in Logic. However, like there's a lot of different directions that our runners could split up in. If we do find more keystones, we could go to Sea Flame Tree, Valley Entry. If we end up tracking down some additional skills, that just means that that's more pickups that we can check. Like we might just like find Charge Jump in Spirit Caverns here. But
Sure.
it also could just be a bunch of Keystones and then they just go to Charge Flame Tree. I don't know.
Ooh, there's a somewhat interesting find. There's a Water Vein Shard underwater. FieryBlizzard's going to save to get one more health back, and that allows them to get that out of the water safely. Yeah, shards is the other big thing about this tournament. Instead of having clues, where every 3 trees you collect, you get a clue where one of the dungeon keys is. The dungeon keys have been broken up into 5 shards each, and once you collect 3 of the 5 shards on the map, that gives you access. That completes the dungeon key and gives you access to the dungeon. So, yeah, we're seeing another split up here. FieryBlizzard has taken that Mega Energy into Death Gauntlet and is now looking, I think, to go deeper into Grotto. Meanwhile, Cutie has gone into Spirit Caverns, has found the Keystones there to continue on, and is using the Mega Energy to open Glazer. This is a very interesting play, not in logic, but it might just... But if this is a big find, then that's going to be something that the other team will probably not check for a while. But speaking of big finds, there's one on the left side.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we do have Wind Restored, which is really incredibly nice. And we also do have Charge Jump, which is going to be our first of 3 potential power skills. So that is going to be a really massive find, especially doing that out of logic. So Cutiroo is going to find out that she doesn't quite have the verticality that they want in order to be able to grab this energy cell. So the moment that they see this, they'll just like turn around, go back into Spirit Caverns, and then head up to Sea Flame Tree probably. And I do like this play from Rue to go up to Sea Flame Tree first, just simply because we don't know what right side progression is, and now it's just looking more and more like it's either a teleporter or it's going to be blue breakage. But it looks like instead Rue is going to Alt-R out, so we're going to see where they go next. But definitely a very nice find from Scorched Stones that use that Mega Energy for a sequence break, as they are just finding more shards and more pickups as they progress through Grotto.
Yeah, definitely. This is what Cutiroo is doing here is logical progression. So there might be something up here, but of course, if it's just like a right side teleporter, this also gives access to Spirit to Valley Entry, by the way, via stomping the wall. So that could also be something. But yeah, it might just be a right side teleporter, which just gets you there, where FieryBlizzard went through the short way. But if of course, if there's like a huge skill here, like I don't know, dash or bash, then that's definitely going to swing the race in the favor of Team City Escape. So we're just going to have to see what the teams pick up.
Yeah, so definitely Scorched Stones is just hoping that it's a right side teleporter for progression at Charge Flame Tree. That would be the ideal scenario for them, as Rubyyoshi as well as Trojandude are following in their respective teammates' footsteps and just coming through glades in order to get that stomp pickup and then potentially to progress with logic themselves. So yeah, definitely the places to look right now are the top left and the top right of the screens, just simply because Rue is going to get the in-logic checks potentially, and then if it's not at Sea Flame Tree, it's going to be one of the 2 pickups within Valley Entry itself, which would be really mean. And then in the top left, FieryBlizzard is the first to pioneer new grounds for the first time.
There's another health cell that's very nice, that has FieryBlizzard on 6 health now, and that's a fairly decent number of health to hit. It allows you to get through the final escape with a decent number of skill sets. And there's Glide. Didn't we also find Wind Restored at some point? That's a nice combination.
It's right by the Water Vein, I believe, is where the Wind Restored was. So that could actually come into play for sure. But now with Glide, that is going to be really nice. It actually doesn't unlock anything by itself so far, but it is looking like it's most likely going to be that right side teleporter. But yeah, there it is. I was worried about this. It was Grenade. Grenade is going to be logical right side access. So Scorched Stones, having come through Moon Grotto and done a lot of it without blue breakage, they are going to be orphaning pickups just all over the place there. So if City Escape finds something that is gated by blue breakage, this could be the race. Like, this could decide the race. And a nice Sunstone Shard for their troubles as well.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if the other form of blue breakage is locked behind Blue Break themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't quite make that. I think you can make it if you get the platform swinging, but I don't think it's in standard, what Ru was trying to do there. Meanwhile, we see Rubyyoshi heading into Grotto as well. Makes sense. There's a charge jump to be had here. FieryBlizzard has found the Grotto relic at this point, so he's probably told his teammate where that is. And if this is like one of those things, right? For example, FieryBlizzard is going to do this fairly long trek to the double jump tree, and the tree is not necessary to collect since we're not playing forest trees. So if there's nothing here, he's just going to tell his teammate that you can skip this. He gets one keystone back, but if this isn't like something huge, yeah, there's like this very low value, so Rubiyoshi's not going to bother.
Yeah, indeed. So the real question is like, how long are City Escape going to spend here on the sort of like middle portion of the map? But Ru is going to be treading new ground here by going through Spider Sack area, and honestly, this is really good for Scorched Stones. Like, I would love to see Trojan follow through with that Black Root play where they stomp the peg and then just go in immediately, because if Trojan does track down that that charge jump pickup, then Ru is just going to beeline immediately for Moon Grotto instead of like doing all of these slow checks without verticality. So Scorched Stones has the advantage where they have this really early massive form of verticality, but City Escape with the blue breakage is just, it's really, really massive, just because backtracking and randomizer is one of the most significant forms of time loss. But really nice shard location so far, liftoff. I wouldn't be surprised to see a dungeon key finish out soon.
Probably Ginso. We've seen 2 water vein shards already, and you can do a decent amount with the skill set there. Glide gets you through the spike room, and then charge jump just makes it super comfy. So yeah, that could definitely be something that pops up. There's a lot of things that can happen. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because both teams are orphaning pickups that the other team would not need to orphan. Like, Scorched Stones orphaned a lot of stuff in Blue Plants down in Grotto. Meanwhile, Cutie had to orphan a lot of verticality block pickups in Spider Sack. But it looks like FieryBlizzard might actually equalizing that advantage, that small advantage that City Escape has in terms of blue break. Finding the... Ooh, that's actually quite big. Since he has charge jump, he can check that one pickup, and it's actually the Glade's relic. So that's nice that he gets it on his first pass through. Team City Escape will have to backtrack for that one.
Wow, there it is, folks, in the top left. FieryBlizzard committing the 4 keystones into the key door. This is massive. Massive for the state of the race, especially for Scorched Stones. Both like having that verticality advantage and Horu teleporter, as well as now going to be coming up to Grenade and Glide if and when they go over to Sea Flame Tree. This is just really, really big. And we see some checks as well from FieryBlizzard that Ru actually ended up passing off and instead just decided to take it into Spider Sack area. FieryBlizzard skipping 1 pickup that is in Logic, which is just a really atrocious climb. And then you have to like go through these falling slimes and stuff. But they are going to the Grove teleporter, so this absolutely spells the Gliding Grenade by Scorched Stones. So how long is it going to be for Team City Escape before they are able to track down some form of verticality?
Yeah, it's going to be when they hit Grotto, probably. But that's like such a long way away, because unless Cutie does Iceless, she's going to have to do the whole Swamp Loop as well, orphaning pickups there as well. Not a great situation.
Oh man, Trojandude in the bottom right is going to be checking this super cursed pickup that is in Logic with just a wall jump. It's like one of the funniest pickups to me that it's like still in standard Logic, because the climb is just so incredibly precise and walls are a thing. And that last jump there, and it's just a health cell. As we see, FieryBlizzard is going to be relaying that information that they have indeed found Glide to their teammate, and now they are going to be coming over to the tree in order to be able to grab that grenade pickup as well. Big. Absolutely
very
massive.
big, yeah. That, I would say, there's a lot of seats still left to play, for sure, but I would say that Scorched Stones is at the moment comfortably in the lead. Of course, a lot can still happen, and a lot of pickups can still rando one or the other runner. But I think right now this is definitely a position that favors the team on the left.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Just that verticality is so massive. But Trojandude did follow through. They came down through Black Root Burrows. What are these people doing? This is so incredible. Like, just as Liftoff was saying earlier, they were checking other, certain pickups that the other team would have to orphan if they ended up going to the same areas. But now with Trojandude coming down here into Lower Grotto, they are going to potentially track down that charge jump find. And they find a Gumon Seal Shard behind Pillar Puzzle. That is a nice find for them. Definitely a pickup a lot of people will just always skip and not actually collect. But in doubles,
it be included.
Pickups.
The thing that isn't great for Team City Escape right now is that it's kind of awkward from where Trojan is right now. It's kind of awkward to actually get up to where that charge jump is, which would make it nice to get up, and also where that wind restored is, which would make it nice to get up there. I believe it is possible with wall jump and glide to climb up the right side of Grotto, but I am not positive that that's actually true. And it's not a super intuitive path either way.
No. Honestly, I think I've done that path maybe 3 times. No more than 3, but definitely no more than 10 throughout all the seeds I've played. So it's you never, ever, ever really see it. But yeah, so I don't know if Trojan is aware of potentially doing that, but that would be really bonkers and just absolutely incredible, and I would love to see it. Meanwhile, Rubyyoshi is just doing some checks in Grove. We have FieryBlizzard following in their footsteps as well. And we're honestly, Liftoff, we're running out of areas that are still in Logic. There's Grotto proper, by the teleporter, as well as doing some charge jump based things like Death Gauntlet, and then Swamp entry. And I think that's
and Inner Swamp is in Logic with Stomp and Sea Jump, right?
Yeah, it is.
At least some stuff in there. So that could also be where progression is hiding, like Stomp Tree or something. I don't actually know if the damage boosts to get up there are in standard Logic, but I feel they should be. Also, 3 Sunstone Shards and a Horu Teleporter. If we find 2 more, that's actually logical Horu access, which would be wild.
Yeah, I would love to see Team Scorched Stones just utilize that teleporter immediately. Just be well, we're going Horu. We have to go there anyway for a relic. So you know what? R4's looking really good. We also have the 4 pickups in the main room, which are looking really good with the skill set. And then, heck, I mean, even L4 is really doable with this. It's just that 1 EXP pickup that's by the start of the escape that's a pain to get. As long as our runners are comfortable with doing that door warp. So honestly, there's a lot in Horu they could do that is really not too bad.
It's definitely an option, and it's a better option than going to Horu usually is.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see if our runners take it. Trojan on the right, unfortunately repeating checks that the other team has already done. I think I saw a 3rd Water Vein Shard pop up right now, though, so that might see FieryBlizzard head off into Ginso. Even though I think there's no relic there, it might still be where progression is hidden. That's another thing. That's... Never mind, he's making the Horu play.
Yes.
I love this.
We've seen this so much this tournament, actually. Just the moment that you have enough Sunstone Shards and Horu Teleporter, you just dip in, right? It's a 10-second teleport. You have that little opening door animation, hey, you're in Horu. And then you get 3 pickups instantaneously, and then a 4th if they go down for validation. So, eyes in the top left, in all honesty, we could actually end up finding the next big skill here on FieryBlizzard's screen. And wow, that is pretty big. That is clean water. I mean, we do have a lot of health Liftoff, but that's still a very nice find. Yeah,
it puts all the Water Vein Shards that they've been finding underwater into Logic.
Wow. So early Ginso as well?
Maybe it also gives access to Swamp Swim at this point. That's definitely a very interesting way for the seed to progress. And look what we're seeing on the right. Trojan is actually doing what we were talking about. He's doing the right side grotto climb. And if he is successful in this, he is actually going to find Wind Restored, which is huge. Because because of glide and even bigger charge jump. This is the one I wasn't. Yeah, you can easily make that with glide.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't think I've seen this path with this specific skill combination before. It's so easy to forget because it comes up so rarely in rando. But when it does, it's like it can be a huge play.
Yeah, this is big for City Escape because they were definitely losing ground, and like the longer they don't have that charge jump pickup, that's just more pickups that Scorched Stone are able to check with that better overall pickup density from just literally having verticality. So orphaning less pickups, being able to check more, and we do see a swamp swim play coming from FieryBlizzard. We're gonna see if they just go into like swamp proper and like go to the tree, or if they are going to go down and check the pickups in the water. Meanwhile, on the right.
Yeah. On the right, Rue is actually maybe treading new ground. Not sure if she's just breaking the floor or actually going down there. But yeah, she probably wants to head. I assume she's taking the path that Trojan took to get to that Wind Restored and to that charge jump post haste. Because you really don't. Because if there's a charge jump on the map, you really want to be getting that. It's just such a powerful skill.
Yeah, this is big for City Escape. This definitely brings them back into the race. But, I mean, Scorched Stones has just covered a lot more ground compared to their opponents. So they absolutely have the advantage here coming into what we would sort of picture this as like more or less the mid game, right? We have our first power skill. We have a number of supplementary skills. We have blue breakage. We have air retention, right? They have a lot of tools. It's really just where is going to be the left side access? Is it going to be climb, charge, jump, sorrow teleporter? Is it going to be valley teleporter with some bash shenanigans and using Wilhelm to break the rocks, right? Or, I mean, they have stomp anyways, so that's not really a concern. But yeah, so like, where's bash and where's the left side teleporter? That's where my mind would be if I were these racers.
I mean, just bash would be enough, right? You can just go through valley entry.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I can't believe I'm still just coming back to this, but Horo's looking real good to me right now.
Oh yeah,
definitely. If I had this kit and I had all of the information that I have so far with Horo teleporter as well as so many Sunstone shards just showing their face in this seed yet far. But I do like this swamp play from FieryBlizzard. This is absolutely an area that I think could actually end up happening it. But who knows? Maybe it's like Mapstone progression liftoff. They have access to a lot of map pedestals. That's
true.
1, 2, 4.
That would be fun. I feel we haven't seen much Mapstone progression this tournament yet.
Yeah.
This is a big area that we haven't seen much of yet. There's 4 fairly quick pickups here. And that's grenade jumps.
Wow. Is this go mode?
I mean, once we have left side access, sure.
Yeah.
Grenade jumps are incredible, but they aren't left side access. I guess you could like, honestly, looking at the amount of health and the amount of ability points FieryBlizzard has, this you could definitely just go through valley entry and say I don't care about spikes.
Yeah.
That would definitely be possible.
I can't believe I'm saying this liftoff, but they can check every single pickup on the map except for Forlorn Ruins so far. Actually, no, we have collectively found all the Gumon Seal shards we would need for Forlorn. So they can technically check every pickup on the map. Is it fun? No. But can they do it?
Speaking of Forlorn.
Yeah, map pedestal. Wow.
There's a Swamp Relic and a Forlorn teleporter. That's pretty good.
That is really good. Forlorn teleporter is actually one of the few teleporters that saves like minutes. Unless
because
you're not, like full clear valley for the relic, right?
Yeah, but even then, you can like skip that long part of like Forlorn approach that has no pickups at all.
Yeah. Another map stone pickup for FieryBlizzard is good. And we see Rue coming in. We're going to see how many map stones that they have. And D turned in. No, they don't have charge jump yet.
She hasn't got charge jump yet, but she does get the Swamp Relic, so that's nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Trojan...
Yeah, go on.
Trojan might be... He can take his charge jump through here. And he might actually find the relic here, of course. He knows that it's there. but he might also turn in the map stone. I haven't followed how many. No, it's going to be his first map stone turn, and that's not going to get him the forlorn teleporter.
Yeah, still nice heads up play from Trojan to come over to Swamp, as we see in the top left. FieryBlizzard coming into Forlorn. I do like this. I mean, especially if there is a relic here, then absolutely just coming immediately into Forlorn. Funny enough, it's like Forlorn's one of the few areas that requires very minimal skills to be able to check everything. You need like wall jump and stomp and like the necessary keystones and health to be able to get through, and then you can check everything, which is like really, really bonkers. But especially for how late in the normal game it is, that comes up in a playthrough. But not too pickup dense, but not too pickup sparse either. Very few pickups in Forlorn, but it is a very, very small dungeon as well.
Yeah, we haven't seen the relic yet, but sometimes the relic is stomp locked, but that's no issue. We found stomp very early in the seed. So even if it is, I don't think our runners are going to mind too much. So yeah, I would assume Fiery's going to check this pickup here. Okay. And it is the relic.
Ooh. Yeah, so they're definitely going to want to keep that potentially, but they take the death. Yeah, so they are going to have to go back for that.
I guess taking the death here for the warp allows you to check these pickups out here, and it's not a long trek to like go back from the teleporter to pick that relic up again.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So like, I mean, my eyes are still glued to the left-hand side of the screen right now because we see Horu Fields in the bottom left, and then in the top left, we do see some checks outside of Forlorn, and there is a water vein shard and
double jump.
Very
Such
nice.
a comfy skill set now.
Yeah, truly. Like, it's like either bash or double jump, and then they're like super comfy with like sequence breaking all over the place. I mean, even if they had dash, that would help a lot as well. But I mean, just grenade jumps with double jump and glide, and they have stomp, so they don't have to worry about like hard locks with stomp.
And I mean, theoretically, at this point, you could like climb up Forlorn Approach and then zombie through the kill plane, right? The world's basically your oyster.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, there is the Baneling wall that they have to break, but...
Yeah, you can stomp that. You can stomp that from the right.
Oh, you can? Oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know. I'll have to try that out. All right. Meanwhile, on the right, City Escape, still doing some right side clears, still looking around, trying to find...
It looks like Rubyyoshi found the Valley teleporter. I missed where that was.
Oh, wow.
But I think they were in Horu. So you were right about your Horu. About your intuition.
It's always in Horu. In like World Tour shards. Yes, so that is pretty massive, right? Not having to do the Valley entrance proper and go through that like spike damage boost heck in order to be able to get into the left side of the map. So having Valley TP is like very, very big, but I'm also a little worried because Rubyyoshi ended up not stacking the kill plane, so they do have to go through this area and like take some damage boosts in order to be able to break the rocks and have access to like Misty Woods and Sorrow. So this could be really, really tricky, and so we'll see how deep they go. Rubyyoshi, though, with like a bajillion ability cells, so they could just zombie this like very, very easily.
Yeah, I think getting to the rocks is going to be the tricky part, because I think Kuro kills you immediately, so you can't even like slip below the semi-solid and grenade jump. But I might be wrong about that.
Wind's active, so they're fine.
Oh yeah, Glide Wind restored. Truly.
Yeah. But yeah, you can't actually grenade jump there. You're correct. The kill plane is like right there. It's right there, so you can't climb on that wall. I've tried many different grenade jump setups.
None of them work. So
no, sadly.
New stuff is happening on the bottom right. Trojan is the first runner to explore down here. He also found Climb when he was in Swamp, I assume. That also gives him grenade jumps. And it looks like he's doing manual grenade jumps, not free grenade jumps. So every single grenade jump that he hits for the rest of the seed, there's a frame perfect timing behind it. So be prepared to be impressed.
Yeah, cool stuff from Trojan. So interesting lower BRB play. Definitely like kind of one of the spookier areas. Like if you don't have grenade, because there's like at this point there's so many grenade blocks, especially being this close to Lost Grove entrance. But for good news for our runners is that they do have grenades, so if they do have to go down to Lost Grove, no problemo. But also this could just potentially give us some information as to where Dash in particular is, because this entire area that Trojandude is in right now requires Dash to be able to get access to this area in Logic. Of course, as speedrunners, we have all sorts of creative ways for like moving around the map and such that we have access to this area, but for the sake of tracking down where Dash could potentially be, that is not necessarily the case. But there we go, just 12 experience onto the tree, so no real information as to where they may track it down. But we definitely, if I had to give a team an advantage right now, I would hand it over to Scorched Stones, just simply because they're the first team on the left side of the map. They're the first team to get clean water, to get grenade jumps, to get charge jump, to really be able to pioneer for new locations on the map. And with the charge flame find, that is nice. Not necessary, but it still is a nice pickup to have, especially when they go into the final escape.
Yeah, it makes breaking the walls there a lot comfier than the skills they currently have. So yeah, I think this is a skill set that everyone on the left side is going to be happy with and comfy finishing the seed out with. There's a couple of things that might be a little tricky without Bash, but we are dealing with very experienced randomizer players here. I think they can make do, and maybe those things don't come up.
Yeah, it's like Horu. Horu is like one of the last areas that could really gate them hard if there's a relic in Horu.
Especially the top.
Yeah, the top two rooms. With enough ability cells, it is a pretty easy climb, but if you've never done that climb before, doing it without Bash is like really painful. Meanwhile, in the top left, we see FieryBlizzard working through Sorrow. I like this play where they're going to the lower left side first before they go up towards around the charge jump tree area. The density of pickups around here is just so incredibly high. No, it looks like I am being cast or cursed, as FieryBlizzard is pulling a full 180, is now going to be potentially heading up the main shaft after checking the pickup by the map pedestal.
That might just be the map stone for now. That these frogs can be quite vicious. They do a lot of damage and they have a lot of health.
Yeah.
This actually probably needs to be a grenade jump here to get up there. Yeah, I love that grenade jump.
Ooh.
It looks like Trojan has found the Sorrow teleporter.
Wow.
That's big, actually.
That is really massive for the state of the race. This just allows Trojan a much easier access to a lot of pickups in Sorrow. And so if it is indeed in this top portion here, that could be big for City Escape, because we do see FieryBlizzard in the top left going back to the lower left-hand side. So yes, FieryBlizzard is going to be getting the highest density of pickups in Sorrow Pass itself, but Trojandude is pulling off a 2018 play that actually ended up winning Sigma the tournament by just like literally going up to Sunstone first before checking dense areas. Sometimes you just have to be lucky. Yeah, exactly. I love it. So my eyes are peeled in the bottom right. I'm really hoping this is the relic.
That would be so huge.
I'm gonna laugh so
Team
hard.
City Escape. If the relic is on Sunstone, it's not, but it would have been so funny.
Yeah.
even if it's like in the Dorito Cavern, Trojan's going to find it a lot sooner than FieryBlizzard is, and the team on the right will be able to skip. Like Rubyyoshi lost a fair bit amount of time navigating through Valley there, and it's not in Left Sorrow.
Wow.
So Trojan is probably going to find it soonish. I don't recall if he went left to the tree first, or if he immediately went right from the teleporter. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it did not go left. So yeah, so the tree and the ability cell above it are two pickups that are there. So we're gonna see if Trojandude decides to check those last. In which case, that would be like even more tragic, because then they are gonna go down. But no, there it is in the right side caverns. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's very nice for Trojandude. So
yeah,
a little bit of time there, but not too much.
Yeah, but they'll definitely be spending less time in Sorrow than the other team did.
Yeah, for sure. So now we see Trojandude starting to work their way down. They are going to continue to check some stuff, even though they have found the relic themselves. But this is honestly pretty good because you can just turn in the map stone here. I actually really like this a lot, just in case something vital is on a map stone. But like, we have pretty much everything we need. It's just really Bash and Dash are the two things that have eluded our runners' grasps.
The team on the right has not found the Forlorn teleporter yet. So, and we know that that's on Mapstone 3. So that would be a good find. But of course, if they don't find it, they can also just go down to Forlorn the normal way.
Okay, so no relics in Ginso, Misty, and Valley. Those are the three biomes that don't have a relic. I just saw that on Rubyyoshi's screen. So that's honestly like pretty big.
Yeah, I guess the Horu relic is like the last one that could really trip people up. Both team members of Scorched Stones are on 6 out of 8. And I think I saw Trojan on 5, so it's honestly fairly close.
Yeah, I think Scorched Stones is going to be the favorite here for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely in the lead, but the lead isn't huge. And Horu shenanigans could definitely allow City Escape to come back into this race. Though with Trojan full clearing Sorrow here anyway, and Cutiroo and Ginso, which doesn't have a relic, yeah, I think maybe they'll find Bash here, and it's all going to be worth it. But
that's really it. That's really all they could potentially find to like have it. Like, it has to be in a terrible place in Horu, like the grenade jump, and maybe Scorched Stones doesn't know the grenade jump in L4 or something like that, and like Bash just like saves them for that. Or if it's in like R1 or L1. And the other team doesn't really want to do that climb past the map pedestal in Horu to get to the top. So I think that's really all City Escape could really hope to find at this point. But who knows? I mean, Ginso is a dungeon. There's a lot of pickups in here, and we haven't seen Bash, we haven't seen Dash. So who knows? Maybe they do find that golden goose. I don't know. Yeah, so just as an update for the state of the race, FieryBlizzard in the top left is going to be working through BRB to be able to make their way towards the relic. Rubyyoshi is doing more or less something similar by heading into Forlorn in order to get their relic themselves, because they haven't turned in map 3. And in the top right, Cutiroo does track down Bash. So, hey, liftoff, race isn't over. We still got to find the Horu relic.
Race is mostly over, but it's less over than it was half a minute ago.
Yeah, like, that got me to, like, sit up in my seat. Like, I am now waiting for the team to, like, go into Horu. And, like, a really funny mentality that you see from a lot of rando runners is that they put off Horu for so long. But, I mean, there's a relic in there, so it's, like, just as valuable to search through as it is in, like, Forlorn Ruins. And with the teleporter, right, we already have, as a pickup, we already do have really fast and really easy access. So like, so we're probably going to see all the runners go into Horu very, like, at the very end, like, together. But it's like, who's going to make that play to be the first ones to continue to dig through Horu? An interesting choice here from Trojandude to actually go through Misty. Maybe they just haven't finished out. No, they do have, like, all the necessary shards on the map to be able to finish out the dungeon keys if they communicated that with their teammates. So very interesting decision.
Dash could be here, but especially given that they now know where Bash is, this strikes me as somewhat of an odd play. But maybe they'll find Dash here. There's the Ginso teleporter and Ginso. Always classic. A fun time.
Yeah, classic.
Meanwhile, Scorched Stones are both on 7 out of 8, and now they're probably divvying up Horu. That's not... I mean, you can do that, but why would you? What Ruby's doing right now, but why would you do that? Looks like he doesn't know the grenade jump angle.
Oh, yeah. So where you want to be is you want to get on the perch to the left and just, like, grenade jump on that, and then there's, like, a visual cue to line up with, like, some of the background stuff.
There's also one here, yeah.
Yeah, there's one here, yeah.
That one works as well if you're just a little bit lower. But I think Ruby caught that. That looked quite promising. So it's not going to take him long. Meanwhile, FieryBlizzard is an R4. That was so close. Just a bit higher.
Yeah, one angle higher and they have it. And, nope, that's one angle lower.
It looks... Yeah, you have to aim much higher than you think. Yeah,
there it is.
That was good. Love that grenade jump.
Yeah, it's a great one. So here we go. In the bottom left, this is going to be big. This is the relic. It is not. It is just the health cell. So, honestly, the last terrible place it could be is R1 or L1 at the very top of Horu.
There's also L3, which really sucks without Bash.
You're right. I just always erase L3 from my memory because I just hate that room so much.
Completely valid and understandable. But so surely the relic isn't there, right? That's one pickup out of like 23. What are the chances?
Yeah, like Didu doesn't like checking the middle rooms, and I really don't like checking L3. So if there's gonna, like, we're joking with each other. It's like, yeah, that's gonna be the race we lose, is when the relic is just on L3. Because we're always just gonna like check it probably last.
Yeah.
But yeah, so FieryBlizzard is gonna be in R3, as well as Rubyyoshi is going to be heading up, and so that, like, right above Rubyyoshi is the pain train, the pain quarter. Where they really are hoping that the relic is not going to be up there. But honestly, Liftoff, we're running out of Horu, my friend.
Yeah, and our one is like the densest room remaining, so...
Okay.
That's like...
Oh, there it is!
Never mind, there's the relic. FieryBlizzard found it. R3 completion, I believe it was, yeah.
Yep.
So they're just going to drop down, take the plant for good measure, and then initiate the final escape. This is looking, unless they die like 37 times in the final escape, this is very much looking like a comfortable win for Team Scorched Stones. Rubyyoshi threw away what they were doing, just beelining the relic. And then the final escape is on.
Yeah, just like, honestly, the mid-game skills, I think that's what it came down to. Like, Ru not using the Mega Energy for Death Gauntlet, instead spending that on the Glazer Energy Door. I think that was, like, a really massive turning point, because Trojan was off, like, doing other stuff and, like, getting caught up in Glades and stuff. But then Ru, with that, like, big find of, like, Grenade and Glide at Sea Flame Tree area, made it look like that there was, like, a lot of ground that was going to get covered back. But then, like, with the charge jump find and Grotto, this just really set Scorched Stones ahead. And then, like, grabbing the climb first, grabbing left side access first, and just having really great cleanup all around the map. So very impressive stuff from both teams, but definitely big play for Scorched Stones here, as they are now looking to take their week 2 win and go up 2-0 in the Ori and the Blind Forest doubles tournament.
Yeah, the power skills are power skills for a reason, right? They're very powerful. And anytime your opponent has one and you don't, you're just bleeding time left and right. And we're going to see the first final escape. This is a grenade jump escape, one of my favorites actually. And they don't have bash, so we're going to be seeing grenade jumps left, right, and center, and it's just always a fun time.
Yeah, it's really comfy once you've done it a few times, and FieryBlizzard is definitely in, like, pajama levels of comfort right now. As they are now coming into the final segment, all they have to do is avoid potentially spawning a Kuro kill plane here. If they do, it's no big problem, but yes, nicely done, able to sneak past that. And one more grenade jump, and they are going to be holding right for about 40-ish seconds, maybe a bit less. And here it is, the final grenade jump. FieryBlizzard being very careful to get into the spots so they don't soft lock, and they get it first try. GG.
Nice job. And their teammate is close behind. Rubyyoshi's just initiating the final escape. Going through. Being extra safe by going around the top here. Taking a fire hit. If they have ultra defense, they're fine. If they don't, they're very much not fine.
Oh, I love to see it, Ruby. Thank you so much. I love that grenade jump. It's terrifying, like, because you don't know, in particular, where the like laser cycle is. But if you like pace it out and time it out, you can get that grenade jump every time.
Yeah, and it's. Oh, never mind. They have clean water. They're very much fine. I forgot that wasn't Horu. So yeah, no Kuro spawn for Ruby as well. So just going to climb the left wall here, set up final grenade jump, not get Sigma rocked. Or just going to be skipping the grenade jump. That's fine as well, not going to be make a difference in the end.
Honestly, very cool play from them, right? Because if they see nobody like done, like 30 seconds after FieryBlizzard dot's done, then the smarter play is just to not grenade jump. They don't need to have the fastest, most optimal time. They just need to have their average time be guaranteed lower than their opponents. That's actually a very clever play. I'm going to use that tomorrow if it comes up.
Yeah, definitely. Why take, even if the risk is small, if you know what you're doing, there's still a risk that grenade jumps can go wrong. Why take the risk if you don't have to?
Exactly. So yeah, Rubyyoshi is now going to be holding right for about 30 more seconds, and then they will done, guaranteeing the win at this point for Scorched Stones. They have to like AFK for multiple minutes. But yeah, just a simple holding to the right button press. Meanwhile, Cityscape just tracking down the relics. They have tracked down 7 out of the 8 relics, so all that's left for them is now to go into Mount Horu themselves and be able and track down that relic, which of course we know in Horu is going to be the R3 relic at the room completion. So just a nice calm elevator ride up and then pushing a stone for a bit, and that is going to grab them the relic. But Rubyyoshi is going to done with an official time of 49:19, looking like about a mid-48 overall for the average end time for our Scorched Stones runners. Very impressive stuff. Walking away.
That's definitely a very respectable time, especially in a seed without dash, without bash. Definitely well played. And definitely a team to watch for the future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to see what they do next.
I did notice that our team on the right does not have the Horu teleporter, which was, I think, which might be a knowledge thing, because the Horu teleporter was on the 100 XP to the left of the spirit tree, which for the longest time was not actually randomized. And I know that they've been away from the community for a while, so I don't think so maybe they don't actually know that this is now a randomized pickup, so that's kind of unfortunate. But they can still cross Horu Fields, they have bash, and just enter through the front door. It's not going to stop them from finishing the seed or anything, just a bit of unfortunate.
Yeah, it's looking like that now that they're still like checking random pickups. Maybe they forgot where one of the locations of a Sunstone shard was, because we do see in the top right, Cutieroo does have a finished Sunstone, but Trojandude still needs that one shard where they do need that teleporter. So we're going to see in the bottom right if they do opt to go over to the left to Valley Entrance and find that Horu TP pickup. Or if they are just going to come back and do like a smarter play and like go into Grove proper, yeah. Like this, like what Trojan is doing, like we know that's taking them away from the teleporter pickup, but this is like absolutely the smarter play. Like go into Horu Fields, like act like you are going to find that last shard on your way to Horu, and then if the shard is there, great. You're like don't have to now like backtrack fully to Mount Horu because you're already at the door, right? So yeah, I do like this routing from Trojandude. And there it is, a Sunstone shard.
There's a Sunstone shard.
Beautiful.
So that's like everything they need. Just going to cross Horu Fields, enter Mount Horu through the front door, and find that final relic.
Yeah. So we see Trojan now just like heading directly towards Horu, like this is it. They just have to track down the relic. Unfortunately for them, we do know that it is in a pretty nice spot. So Even though Trojan hasn't picked up Bash yet, that's not really going to matter for their ability to finish out. They also only have one Water Vein shard left off, so like
they're probably not getting Bash.
Another Water Vein shard, yeah. And then like finishing out the Water Vein is just like not really that logical at this point. But okay, Rue was also looking for a Gumon Seal shard. So they ended up finding that so they can utilize their Forlorn Teleporter that they got from turning in map stones, so they can go grab that Forlorn Relic as well. Okay, so Trojan now is going to be heading over to Horu. We see Rue coming into Forlorn in the top right. And so they are going to be going downwards immediately because their teammate Trojan has already tracked down the Relic. So it's just going to be right next to the spider over here. Beautiful grenade jumps from Trojan in the bottom right over Horu Fields. Horu Fields is definitely like one of the most fun places to just grenade jump. It's just so incredibly open. And there's some really, really cool looking ones as well.
Yeah. There's some amazing grenade jumps. One there that never really goes well for me because the left half of Horu Fields loads too slowly on my PC. That's always a bummer when you get interrupted mid-grenade jump. But yeah, it's like a lot of fun to just zoom across. You can also do a lot of fun ones that Trojan is doing in the central hub of Horu. Just zoom from one side to the other side. It's going to be checking all the quick pickups here. We know this isn't the relic, but of course it makes sense to check these first.
Yeah, for sure. And now they're going to go for Slaughter here on the mini-boss, opting to not door warp. I actually honestly like this because this is now going to leave the exit open. Whereas if you door warp to check the validation pickup, if it doesn't end up being the relic, then you have to like door warp again in order to like later on to get access to the final escape. So just like opening that door just gives easy and really fast access in and out without having to worry about doing a frame perfect trick.
And again, this is another thing where Trojan is going to be able to say to his teammate, already checked all the main hub pickups, and that's not it. And then they'll be able to divvy up the remainder of Horu among themselves. And they actually have a player who has Bash on their team, so I wouldn't be surprised if Rue went to the top, since that's much easier to check for her than it is for Trojan. We'll see how they end up splitting up Horu among them. Definitely not go. I don't think it's going to take them very long at all to find that relic.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And so we see Trojandude working through R4 currently. We see Rue now is going to be joining them in Horu, so we're going to see where they end up going themselves as they progress through. And Trojan knows it's not going to be an R4, so they are just going to bow out. Or maybe I don't think they actually finished R4 entirely, so that is really, really cool. So just dipping in, checking like a pickup or two, and then going to be dipping out. And they are going to come in potentially for L4 door warp. Nope. They're just like trying to think about what they can and what they can't do.
Yeah, meanwhile Cutie is heading to the top. Is that? Looked like the R3 play for a second. And one of our winning team is also on deck for a short chat. Ruby had to leave to head to work after the match, but we do have FieryBlizzard for an interview here, and I am going to pull him in. Hello, FieryBlizzard. GG. That was a great match and a great performance by your team.
Yeah, that was a very fun seed.
I mean, any seed where you get grenade jumps is very, very fun. Yeah, so talk me through like the early game. Really fascinating play where like the Mega Energy and Clade's Loop opened up Death Gauntlet, and your team just sent somebody immediately through there. Were you also like thinking about Charge Flame Tree and what right side progression was going to be, or were you just like going into Grotto because you knew you could split up super early?
It was part of us being able to split up. So the idea was one of us was going to get 2 keystones and go to wall jump loop. basically just leave Blackroot as soon, because there's no point in both of us exploring Blackroot at the same time when we can go left. And then it was a question, leaving Wall Jump Tree, you had 2 keystones, and yeah, you could have key duped in Spirit Caverns, but I was expecting, okay, there's probably a keystone that's required in Blackroot. So let me just go to Death Gauntlet, because I can do that, and that's breaking logic anyways, and maybe I'll get a couple keystones to use on Spirit Caverns. Turned out it wasn't entirely necessary because there were 4 keystones in Spirit Caverns, so... But
this is just incredibly unlikely, but yeah, it was they were there.
Yeah, and then getting charged up, it's just like, well, alright, you should come over here immediately and grab that, and then we can start just, you know, going through the seed quickly, which is sort of what happened. And then Sea Flame was just sort of a ridiculous area, telling us both to go into Horu as soon as possible, and then also go into... I mean, Ginzo was pretty clearly going to lead to something. I guessed it was Bash, which seems to be confirmed. So,
you guessed right.
Yeah, it's one of those seeds where the logic was so heavy pointing you in that direction that it's hard to... It's hard to basically be like, yeah, there's nothing in Ginzo, when it's like, here are all your Water Vein shards, although the Water Vein shard outside of Forlorn entry was a little bit weird in that regard. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty straightforward, logically seed, because it just sort of pointed you in the right direction.
Yeah, totally. And that's what we were also like thinking, especially about like early game right side progression is like, well, it's either going to be like 4 keystones in Spirit Caverns, or it's going to be like a right side teleporter. So that was also why I like the Death Gauntlet play in particular, because if all that was found was just like a right side teleporter, you already had those right side checks, and you had the information really early on as to where charge jump was.
Yeah, and Grotto is so dense.
It is.
Like, as the earlier you can get into that, I feel the better. And I know last week we were a whole bunch of, like, basically required Horus pointing you really early, and this... I mean, there was clean water there. I don't think clean water actually gated anything.
The Water Vein shards, right? If we're going...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a Water Vein shard.
Underwater.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah. Other than that, not really. So yeah, we're seeing quick update. We're seeing Trojan. He actually ditched out of Horu. He does want that bash, so he hunted down a couple of Water Vein shards and is now entering Ginso, heading for that bash pickup. Meanwhile, Cutieroo is checking R2. It looks like. So yeah, we'll be closing in on the relic soon. She has finished the top of Mount Horu and knows that the relic isn't there. So yeah.
The really funny thing about this room in particular, R3, is that if you move far enough away, you'll actually cause the elementals to respawn. This was just like probably implemented by Moon Studios in order to like guarantee that a casual player doesn't end up getting like hard locked in this room.
It's tricky. It's if you actually do it as intended, it's not a super easy room.
No, but the good news is that the ceiling door opens after a specific number of elementals have died. It doesn't have to be all of the unique elementals, like each of them. So just respawning them and then killing these 3 over and over again will open the door all the same, which is really cool.
Yeah, so Cutie is just doing a cycle of killing 3 elementals 3 times, and then that gets you your 8 elementals killed to open the door. Yeah, this might be Dash, but we know it's not going to be the relic.
Be interested to see where Dash was.
Maybe Misty, maybe. Nobody really went there.
My guess is either that or right side Forlorn, but... yeah. It was a little bit awkward when the relic is in that spot in Forlorn. Just like, I kind of want to check the entrance, and I'll come back to this later.
Yeah. We saw your indecisiveness. Turned out quite good that you actually checked the entrance, got your double jump along the way.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, there are a couple of parts where I was just like, I don't know if I really want to do this. I'm like, you know what, it's going to be faster just to teleport back. But yeah, it's just a lot of us, Ruby and I just communicate. It's like, okay, what are you doing? What am I doing? Are we doing the same thing? Are we going to converge? And this is one of those seeds where we didn't really converge all too much until pretty much Sorrow. So that was nice.
Yeah, I want to ask about that actually. Do you have like a couple of like set ways to split up? Like, do you have one player that, like, for example, always goes into Blackroot, and one player that always goes into Glades in the early game, or do you just pretty much decide that on the fly?
We decided on the fly. I mean, this is the second time we've actually co-opted. So, like,
okay.
The last time was the last race we ran, because we just haven't had time to really practice. So yeah, we just kind of take it on the fly and then let the pickup sort of decide where it's going to be split up from there.
Well, the coordination looked pretty good. I definitely wouldn't have guessed that this was the second time you actually co-opted.
Yeah,
definitely very impressed with your performance, going up 2-0 in the Swiss as well. Yeah, Muffin, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, so I guess just as a closer question, coming into round 3 with a score of 2-0 is like really awesome. Is there any team that you're like really scared to see coming up in that round, or are you just gonna show up on race day and play some rando?
I think on the conversion of 3-0 teams, probably just gonna show up on race day and hope we don't get, beaten too badly by the likes of, say, Serious Liftoff or your team Muffin. We'll see what happens. When it comes to sort of a mode like this in World Tour, I feel like it's not a guarantee that one team wins over another. Like, if you just make a play that's sort of nonsensical but works out, I think it will be an exciting match regardless of who we face. I think it will be a tough challenge once we get further and further into Swiss, but I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see what happens.
Heck yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining us for the interview, and GG on your win.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
GG.
Thank you for commentating, Covert and Liftoff.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So as an update, Rue is like treading new ground. I've actually never seen the right side spike climb. This is all just because they haven't been into the inner swamp proper in order to grab climb. There is a 2 grenade bash chain that like does make this like a million times easier. But I'm really hoping that they just continue with this spike line because this is some really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I think Rue is a controller player, and bash grenade on controller is just generally a bit of a pain. So it makes sense that they're trying to avoid that, and they actually got to the top, so who needs bash nade anyway?
Yes, indeed. Okay, and so Rue is going to be heading over, and now this is their next trial, if you will. This definitely with a zombie Ori is like very, very doable.
Yeah,
once again, yeah.
Never mind. Who needs a zombie Ori if you can just bust out a friendly spike that I didn't know existed?
That is amazing. I didn't know that was there either. Oh hey!
I think you can also save there to get health back. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So, like, Horu in general is like one of those areas where it's like very, very common to be like less experienced with routing it, because the most run mode is forced trees, and so it's like pretty rare that you would actually ever have to do more than like one thing in Horu, which is go and do the final escape. But with World Tour and also with shards, that does like increase the chance of like having to do more of these rooms, and oftentimes with like skill sets that you are really, really uncomfortable with. And so it's just always impressive to see runners, especially of Trojan and Rue's caliber, definitely try to puzzle out and piece out what they need to do.
Yeah, and Cutie is honing in on the ending of this room and is going to pick up the relic any second here and going to tell Trojan, come down to R3. Don't Don't bother with all the rest. There's the relic. That's 8 out of 8. Now just the final escape remains. And Trojan is going to immediately beeline over where his partner has just found the relic. He just has to backtrack through here. Doesn't even have to backtrack, could also just warp. But might as well backtrack.
Yeah, show that room.
Much easier. Boss. Yeah, exactly. Show R3 who's the boss. Much easier in that direction.
Good stuff. All right. And so it does look like Trojan is going to potentially continue on. Yep. So they are going to be going into R3 in order to be able to track down that relic and head into the final escape. And with this skill set, honestly, it's like very comfy for both like Trojandude and Ru. Like having Bash is probably like the biggest thing for the final escape itself.
Oh no. That's okay.
Ru is typing in the Discord. Oh my god, that relic. That was great. Oh, slime went out of bounds. Oh my god, Trojan!
Oh no!
So the slime went out of bounds and then ended up shooting through the wall in order to hit Trojan. Oh my goodness. Oh, dude. Dude, Trojan dude. Alright, well, it does look like we are going to see Team City Escape potentially tapping out. We'll find out momentarily to see if they are going to continue playing. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like a forfeit. Okay, so that being said,
just wanted to find out where that relic was hiding.
Yeah, exactly. So, sad to say, this is going to be a loss for City Escape, but that's okay. We still have 2 more rounds of Swiss, so we have a lot more Ori action coming from them. Still very impressive play from them, but Scorched Stones with Rubyyoshi and FieryBlizzard going up 2-0 and looking even better, approaching that qualification for bracket phase itself. Because indeed, only the top 4 teams of the top 14 teams that are currently competing are going to be moving on to the semi and then grand finals of the entire tournament. That being said, this is going to do it for us today. Tomorrow, I believe at 2 p.m. Eastern? I totally know when my match is, I promise.
Let me check real quick.
Yeah, please.
While you finish up.
Okay, yeah. So there is going to be a match tomorrow, followed by 2 more matches on Sunday itself. So stay tuned for those matches for some more Ori action, and I believe the match tomorrow is going to be restreamed, which is going to be between #FreeLeaf emoji and my own team Storytime with my partner Didu.
It's going to be at 6 p.m. UTC. You're going to have to convert that to US. I'm not versed in them, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, that is going to be 2 p.m. Eastern. So that being said, from all of us here, thank you so much. Major shout outs to Appletree for showing up for restreaming duties, as well as Sarah Barron and Jay Howe for the help with the stats behind the scenes. That being said, Liftoff, thanks for joining me on comms, and I am really looking forward to seeing you folks tomorrow. Have a great evening, folks.
Have a good one, and see you tomorrow.